Hey guys, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. So if you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you with a new Let's Play series of Temptations Ballad. I've been wanting to cover this one for quite a while because I absolutely adore the art style. So I already made a video on this, but it got copyright claimed, so I am going to be muting the music. Sorry guys. If anyone can tell me if there's a lot more copyrighted music, I would love to know. But for right now, sorry, I'm not going to let it affect my entire video for like, 1 minute of music, so. Anyway, guys, off we go again. Let's see, what do we got? We're going to start off at the beginning again. Okay, alright. Here we go. Alarm changer up, and let's go. A child perches upon his caged throne, not a life nor choice to call his own. Brittle bones broken to fit their mold, groomed and taught an ideal foretold. In neither heaven nor hell shall he find rest, till he flies onwards upon a path possessed. Perhaps one day my soul shall soar free. Oh, how I wish to be anyone but me. Chapter 1. The Liar, the Commoner, and the Chosen One. The City of Axia. Mount Zenthar. Pirate's Isle. Some say the city of Axia stood at the center of the world. A bustling hub of arcane research, hardworking craftsmen, and the home of the kingdom's royal family. There was rarely a dull moment within this noble city's history. More humble individuals would retort that Axia was actually a simmering shithole, while the church would accuse such individuals of being uncouth hooligans beyond salvation. It would also reassure everyone that the city of Axia was indeed very, very important. But to what extent? Little did the world and its inhabitants know that at its alleged center, a story was slowly unraveling that will ultimately determine the fate of everything. Like many stories throughout the ages, this one begins with 3 idiots. A rather hopeless bunch, really, with some time and bumbling about, however, that will hopefully mature enough to face the trials to come and take a stand at the center of the world. This story begins with a liar, a commoner, and the chosen one. Zoop! Marauders District. Bonebreaker Mercenary Company Guild Building. I like that name, Bonebreaker. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we're badass. We're so badass we break bones! This heavily reminds me of Black Clover. Everything I've played so far reminds me of Black Clover, actually. I love it! Well, calling it a guild building was a little generous. This place was more of an abandoned tavern that was haphazardly renovated into a semi-usable living space. Mugs of mead littered the broken-down bar, along with racks of weapons and overdue bills from the Adventurers Guild. It was an unorthodox company, to say the least. The walls of the old tavern, or rather, the Bonebreaker Mercenary Guild, were constantly droning with the shouts of drunk mercenaries, clattering weapons, and barely hidden sensual moans rumbling from the supply closets. It was highly recommended that visitors avoided the backroom supply closets lest they find themselves an awkward sight. Or some fun, take your pick. The Bonebreaker Mercenary Company has always been just like its captain and namesake. Everyone's here to kick ass and to have a good time. Or rather, almost everyone. The mirthful ruckus of shouting drunk mercenaries was audible even in the attic, but slightly muffled. It was just quiet enough for Cole to practice his lute in relative peace. Aw, he's so cute. I love his design. The young hyena strummed the tattered strings on his instrument, humming softly over the intoxicated chattering from downstairs. He was technically supposed to be doing weapons training at the moment, though Cole was never one to simply do as he was told. He plucked a C string and immediately winced at the sound. Out of tune already? This old thing ain't gonna last much longer. Shit! There was an ugly twang, followed by a sharp yelp. As Cole had tightened the pegs on his decrepit lute, a string snapped and whipped painfully against his finger. He winced and suckled his thumb in dismay. Bollocks! Looks like that's the end of practice for today. How the hell am I gonna get another loot without Papa finding out? Ah! Explosions everywhere. Suddenly, the entire building shook with a resounding boom as the heavy entrance doors were kicked open. The guild rumbled with whooping and hollering cheers from the dozens of mercenaries in the lobby. Cole's shoulders slumped as he slowly forced himself onto his feet. And he's back. Oh dear. The din of hollering men was enough to rattle the mugs on the bar tables. The boss is back! There's our man! Marrow, how was the job? Shut your traps! The room immediately fell silent. Music is good. There we go. Okay. Marrow Bonebreaker grumbles as he stomped through the door, his massive shadow darkening the entire room as he turned towards the bar. A dozen fellow mercenaries spilled into the lobby along with their captain, each slinging various steel axes and swords over their shoulders. Marrow's glass eye twinkled in the dim light. Actually, I'm going to cut this music out entirely. Pretty sure this was what was causing the problem. Marrow's glass eye twinkled in the dim room as he walked, his very presence commanding the attention of every person in the vicinity. He snatched a mug of mead from one of his mercenaries and downed it in one gulp before slamming it down on the bar table. The large, towering hyena wiped his muzzle with a disgruntled sigh. Horrible! Utterly rubbish and disappointing! The moment those bandits saw us bonebreakers approaching, they dropped their weapons and surrendered while shaking in their little boots. The old lady down the street could have put up a better fight than those sorry sods. Weren't folks saying that the city was supposed to get more rowdy now that the king and queen kicked the bucket? Bandits my ass! My axe hasn't tasted a good fight in years. The other mercenaries in the lobby grumbled in disappointment. Aw, shucks, Captain. You mean you didn't even get to fight? A sly grin suddenly stretched across Marrow's face as he thumbed the handle of his great axe. Well, I didn't say that now, did I? A few of those measly bandits were stinking mages. Shot a few little fireballs at us thinking they were smart. Marrow licked his lips. Nothing quite as satisfying as clobbering a few magic-y nitwits to the ground. Still doesn't make up for the disappointing fight, though. A voice suddenly mumbled from behind the heavy entrance doors. Really now? The bandits were arrested and we got paid. Isn't that enough? Duh, but what's the point of being a merc if we can't even have fun kicking ass? I love these character designs. The front doors creaked open as another shorter hyena heaved a large sack through the guild's entrance. Hamish, the mercenary captain's right-hand man, rolled his eyes as he lugged the heavy bag of coins onto the bar. The money, a stable job, this big shack that we're living in. It's a guild building! Hamish rolled his eyes and ignored his overly cheerful captain. And the fact that the city watch isn't clamoring to arrest us anymore. That should be plenty reason enough. Duh, lovey, there you go talking sense again. Can't you just let me complain in peace for once? Hamish tapped his chin thoughtfully. Nah. Somebody's got to keep you in line. You ain't no fun anymore. Hamish tried to hide a fond smile as he turned towards the dozens of other mercenaries in the room. He plucked a handful of copper and silver coins and shoved them onto the bar. By the way, everyone, Captain says drinks are on him tonight. The entire guild erupted into cheers and whoops and hollers as all the rowdy mercenaries raised their tankards in glee. Yes! You're the best captain we could ever ask for, boss! You bet your ass I am! Marrow chuckled as he threw a loving arm around Amish's shoulders as they settled down at a table. A few of the mercenaries working at the bar eagerly passed more tankards of ale to the pair of hyenas. Marrow grinned and took another deep gulp. Gotta make our own fun in this boring-ass city now, don't we? Speaking of which... Hamish shot Marrow a withering look as he felt a large hand snake down the small of his back and fiddled teasingly at the hem of his breeches. A little early in the morning for this, don't you think? Duh, lovey, the job was so boring. You don't mind cheering me up a little, don't you? Ow! No, I'm sorry. Ow! Marrow felt a sharp pinch and retracted his arm with a pout. Maybe later. Didn't you have something you needed to do? Something to do? Marrow's eyebrows perked up in realization. Oh, right. How could I have forgotten? He leapt up and began rummaging furiously through the sack on the bar. Marrow glanced up at the nearby mercenaries getting deep into their cups. By the by, have any of y'all seen my boy? My boy, this piece is what all true warriors strive for. I think we heard him strumming his darn lute in the attic again. The kid should really let loose and join us at the bar more often. Marrow's chest swelled with pride. Ah, there's my talented little lad, always refining his hobbies. Y'all can learn a bit from his dedication. Marrow turned towards the stairway and stomped his feet. Cole! Cole! Cole, come down! Your papa's got something for you! Yeesh! Ah, there he is, my darling boy! I can hear you without all the hollering, Papa. Ah! Cole yelped as a massive hand clapped him on the back and sent his tiny frame face first into the floor. Ow! Papa, watch it! My shoulder's still not recovered yet! Nah, sorry there. I just can't help but get excited from seeing my pride and joy. Especially when he's so dedicated to practicing his passion so damn much. How's that little lute of yours treating you? Oh, Cole's shoulders slumped. It broke when I was practicing this morning. Weren't you supposed to be doing weapons training this morning? Not now, Amy. I'm trying to be a positive influence here. Now, where was I? Aha! Surprise, my boy! Marrow grinned gleefully as he pulled something large from inside the sack. Cole felt his jaw drop. Watched his father slowly unwrap a brand new glistening loot, furnished brilliantly with handsome dark wood. He hesitantly reached out to grab it, his paws gingerly tracing the cool, smooth surface. Is this for me? Thank you so much, Papa. You really shouldn't have. Marrow barked with laughter and slapped his son on the shoulder. Nonsense! Anything for my darling boy! The Bone Breakers have gotten a lot of jobs lately since the King and Queen croaked. I had to spend all that coin on something. A wave of warm giddiness washed over Cole's chest as he gently strummed the strings of his new lute. A sharp and cheerful notes rang out, perfectly tuned. Cole laughed, delighted. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Papa. Like I said before, anything for my darling son. Cole suddenly grimaced as he glanced at his father. Uh-oh. He's getting one of those daydreaming looks in his eyes again. One day you will grow into a great man who will take over the Bonebreaker Mercenary Company as my successor. Ah, the speech. Cole stood up straight and tried his utmost to resist rolling his eyes. You will grow to be a strong mercenary and an even greater man than I. The Bonebreaker's legacy will be yours to lead down the glorious path it is destined to follow. People will sing stories of your deeds for ages to come. Yes, I've memorized this whole bit, Papa. Not to be pessimistic or anything, but have you noticed that your son is like almost half the size of the smallest merc in the company? I can barely even lift an axe. Worry not, my dear boy. I understand your pain. I was a late bloomer as well. Yet here I am, the captain of the greatest and most fearsome mercenary company in all of Axia and the kingdoms beyond. Late bloomer? Papa, I'm like 23 now. I'm pretty sure the chances of a growth spurt are miraculously low at this point. Cole gulped as his father leaned down on one knee and placed a supportive hand on his shoulder. His face was brimming with such faith and pride that it was hard to look at directly. No matter the odds, know that I believe in you. You're going to show the world what you're made of one day, and the world will watch in awe. Remember, boy, you're the son of Marrow Bonebreaker. Cole felt an uncomfortable wriggling of doubt rising in his throat, but at the sight of his father's intense and loving confidence, he swallowed it back down. Sure, Papa. One day. Marrow's laugh boomed through the building. Cole yelped as a playful hand ruffled his hair. That's my boy. Now, like anything in life, that day won't come without putting some work into it. That's why I think it's high time you started taking on mercenary jobs again. What? But I still haven't recovered from the injuries from my last job. Cole jabbed a finger desperately at the bandages hanging from his shoulder. Bah! It's been weeks. If you ain't getting better with you cooped up at home, it'll get better if you go out for some air. Marrow's voice turned gentle. I ain't asking for the world for you, boy. I ain't asking you for the world, boy, not until you're ready. We'll take it one step at a time. For today, just go out and take one job listing from the Adventurers Guild and bring something home from your work. Be it a few coppers or vast heapings of treasure. Know that I'll always be proud of what you do. The life of a great man is a long one. There's no need to rush, but we should always be moving forward. A mix of affection and dread rolled through Cole's chest as he glanced between his father's brimming pride and the new furnished loot in his hands. His grip tightened on it as he sighed. Right, Papa. I'll do my best. Attaboy! Go show 'em what you're made of. If you run into any cowardly magic users out there, give 'em a good old throttling from me. You know what I always say about magic? Cole sighed. It's the tool of the weak and the spineless. Ha! And don't you forget it. Nothing's more satisfying than clobbering a wizard across the face while they're crying, My spells! My spells! Right, of course. Anyway, I gotta go show the world what I'm made of. I'll see you later. Take care, my son. Cole grabbed his lute and scuttled towards the door. His gaze was trained at his feet, far from the beaming and loving grin of on his father's face. Oh, I love the character designs in this. Can't wait to see more of them. Cole had scarcely taken a step outside when he was pulled aside by Hamish, who was wearing his usual gruff look of concern. Cole mentally groaned as he was dragged to the quiet supply closet in the back of the tavern, guild building. He chuckled at the usual sounds of low moans rumbled from many of the closets. All the men in the Bonebreakers Mercenary Company knew what happens back here. Gay things. Whoa, Hammy, dragging me straight to the supply closet's a little direct, ain't it? Plus, aren't you all chummy with Papa? I hate to be an awkward homewrecker. Hamish's eyebrows shut up so quickly Cole almost thought they had left his face. What? No, that's not why I... Ugh! Hamish muttered under his breath and slammed a fist against the thin wooden walls. Quiet down! The moans from the various closets grew slightly more muffled and quiet. Just slightly. Someone from one of the closets whispered a very quiet, sorry, followed quickly by a chorus of snickers. Bunch of horny dumbasses. Anyway, on to the real business. Ha! Nice. Hamish suddenly swiped at Cole's bandaged shoulder. Hey! Cole stumbled backwards in shock. Hamish's eyes narrowed. The bandages abruptly faded into nothingness like wisps of heat on a hot summer day. Underneath, Cole's shoulder apparently appeared completely uninjured. The air buzzed. It was faint, but it was unmistakably the soft glow of magic. A minor illusion, eh? When did you learn a trick like that? I... Cole's breath hitched. He felt his stomach drop. I can explain, but please don't tell Papa. Shh. A hand rested gently on his shoulder as Cole fought the urge to flee. Hamish sighed. Relax, Cole. I'm not here to get you in trouble. Not everyone's as old-fashioned as your father. Honestly, most of the boys in the Bonebreakers are fine with magic. Cole let out a breath of relief and scowled. If you were fine with it, you could have just left me alone. Hamish sighed and rubbed his temples. I'm worried about you, kiddo. I think it's high time you have a long conversation with your pa. Cole's scowl deepened and he crossed his arms defensively. What are you on about? Hamish scratched his chin and closed his eyes, as though cautiously preparing his next words. So for the next video, I think I'll unmute it. I'll just have the music a little bit lower, and if it copyright claims it, I'll erase it. I'll mute that segment. Are you sure you really want to take over the Bonebreakers when you're older? What? Anger surged through Cole's chest as he gripped the cold wooden handle of his new lute. Of course I do! Papa didn't raise a disappointment! I'm not saying that you're a disappointment. Are you? What exactly are you trying to say, then? Cole took a step forward, the fur of his mane standing on end. I am Collidai Bonebreaker, son of Marrow Bonebreaker, the most famous and feared mercenary of all of Axia and the kingdom beyond. I don't need Papa's little lackey to tell me what to do. A heavy, tense silence hung over the hallway as Cole glared into Amish's unflinching eyes. Finally, the older man sighed. All right, then. You'll follow your father's footsteps. What about your magic? Oh, if you're trying to blackmail... Hamish held up his hands. No, I'm trying to hold a conversation, kiddo. I just think that most of your talks with your father have been rather one-sided. Wouldn't it be healthier if you two sat down and took some time to talk about how you really felt? At the very least, let him know about your talents. Magic is the tool of the weak and spineless. And you're neither weak nor spineless. You've got real skill with that magic of yours, kid. Are you going to just keep lying and hiding it from your pa to live up to his ridiculous expectations? Yes. There was something satisfying about getting under Amish's skin. Papa's right-hand man usually held himself with unwavering sternness. Now he was just massaging his temples in frustration. You certainly have your pa's hard-headed stubbornness. Are you truly determined to pretend to be a big-axe-swinging barbarian for the rest of your life when you clearly don't want to? Papa is Marrow Bonebreaker. What are people going to say if they find out that the strongest mercenary in the land is a weak little pipsqueak for a son who can barely swing a sword? I'll fake it till I make it somehow. Lying to Papa feels better than disappointing him. Alright guys, I'm going to pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!